What's up, everyone? Stephen here, Tiny House Listings. I am in an old school, funny situation, an old school 1920s cabin here in, where am I at? Huntsville, Alabama. Anyways, I just today I hadn't done a video for you guys, and I promised to do a video every single day, and I hadn't. And I also realized I wear this shirt like every time I'm in a video. Weirdest thing. But anyways, I just want to hop on and see if there's any questions. See if anyone has any questions about tiny houses, and then go to bed. It's been a super long day. I drove from Wilmington, North Carolina to Atlanta, Georgia, and then drove on to Hunt. It's been a long trip. I drove the bus to sell it, the Beast Bus. I don't know if you guys saw any other videos. But yeah, it's crazy. The thing was like 40 feet long. You just drive down the road. It's the funniest thing. It had like this big, huge seat in the front that was like a lazy boy. So you're like driving down the road and lazy boy. But anyways, if everyone has any tiny house questions, that's cool. If not, I'll probably just go to bed. So let me know. Let's see here. What's the cheapest tiny house you got on the website? I tried to find one, but oh my gosh, that's bright. And that's too dark. Let's see here. How do we get back to that? Okay, yeah. So on the Tiny House Listings website, you can go to browse and you'll be able to search all tiny houses. And then you click on up top, there's a filter for price, and you can just type in whatever price you want. So, like, for example, if you're looking for 20,000, 25, whatever, you can do like a little slider and you'll see whatever price you want. Yeah. So if you're looking for a $20,000 tiny house, there's plenty on the website now. There's some for 5,000, but obviously for 5,000, you're not going to get a lot. I can't think of one question. Is this your first live chat? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to think about for the tiny houses. So if you can't think of one question, I don't know. Maybe you're not into tiny houses. I don't know. There's tons of questions. Like, for example, what does it take to golf crib? What does it take? They're all tiny houses on wheels. Where can I park a tiny house? Are tiny houses legal? Where can I finance? Where, I mean, it's endless. And I get those questions all the time. So, yeah, but it's not a big deal. This is my first live chat. I'd say this is probably the 20th live chat. I don't know. I do a lot more on Instagram. When you go on Instagram, typically it's super active there, which is strange because there's more people here on YouTube than there are on Instagram. So I don't know why that is. I think Instagram maybe pushes live better than YouTube. I'm not sure. What about mold issues? Good question. It's very similar to a regular house. You have to have sorry, I'm at a loss for words right now. Yeah, mold issues are the same thing as with a regular house. You just have to figure out ways to make sure that the humidity is kept at bay. There's fresh air exchangers and things like that. Let's see here. Where do I look to see if tiny houses are legal in Illinois? Yeah, I talk about this a lot. Tiny houses, you might hear this a lot from people. There's even some people here on Instagram and other places who are considered experts and say something like tiny houses are not legal in Illinois or California or wherever. It's not true. There's very few situations where a tiny house is not legal statewide, right? It's almost always at the municipality level. So, for example, wherever it is you live in LA, call your local planning and zoning department and just tell them what you're planning to do, and tell them what you want to do and what would it take to make it happen for what you want to do. And you probably have to make a few concessions and just go for it. Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you. I am in Alabama right now, Huntsville, Alabama, way up in the mountains. I read a lot about people with tiny houses on wheels feeling a sense of groundlessness because their house isn't actually on the ground. Do you experience that at all? Have you heard of that? I mean, there's some people. I mean, like, there's no true answer for that for everyone. That's a good question, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like, there's And I can think of a few people off the top of my head who've been living in a tiny house on wheels for 15 years and love it and continue to downsize or live the way they have been living. This is horrible lighting, by the way. Anyways, yeah, that groundlessness, I've heard that too, but I've also heard of people living extremely happy. So, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with, definitely has a lot to do with like when you live in a tiny house and you have very few possessions and you have very few square feet, you have to decide that you're actually, hold on one second. Sorry. You have to decide if what you have, you're willing to, from that point on, at a very from a long-term perspective, are you happy and you're content with what you have? So the groundlessness, that's probably, to me, that sounds like more of a mindset. So you have to get your mindset right. For example, oh my gosh, let me think of one. Oh, for example, the other day, one woman says, "Well, how can I live off grid? My curling iron or my hair dryer takes 1,800 watts." Well, in a 30-second Google search, I found out that there are battery operated hair dryers, and they're roughly the same price, maybe a little bit more than a regular hair dryer, right? So it's like, yeah, so like you can't think the same way that you think with a regular house. You just plug things in or whatever. You have to think. You're gonna have to think differently, right? Because you're saving a lot of money, and you're living a completely different life. So you're gonna have to think completely different, right? Let's see here. Thanks for the great channel. I would love to see some videos about space saving and micro tiny houses. Mine is only 84 square feet, and I will be living in a full-time shares. Okay, yeah, thank you. Woodhog, awesome. Thank you so much. I will definitely note that, and I will start doing that. I'm actually about to move into a 400 square foot cabin, which is pretty small, myself in the next couple months that we're building, and we'll be taking you along. So it should be fun. Where are land listings on the website? So just go to browse, click on browse on the website, and then click on down, and then click on type, and then click on parking. So then you'll be able to see all the parking listings on the site. There's more and more being listed on the site every day. Hey, you just subbed earlier. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you. On average, there's about 700 of you a day, and we really, really appreciate it. And I'm hoping to reach more and more people every single day because tiny houses are awesome. Let's see. Thank you. What are your thoughts about a gooseneck versus a bumper pull if you're on the move? Let's see here. I don't have thoughts about that. I think goosenecks are the way to go. There's a lot of people who live in gooseneck tiny houses where you just step up really quickly, and over the trailer, which is room that you otherwise would not have, is a full-size bedroom that you can almost stand up in. So gooseneck is a good way to go. And Reen Calusia, thank you for the money. I'm sorry, I wasn't asking for that, but I'll take it. We'll use that for, oh man, what if we took all that money and used it to like help a homeless person? I have no idea. Maybe you guys can help me come out. Any big things to watch out when trying to do yourself tiny house, to a college student trying to move out from the parents' place? Yeah. The first thing I would say is definitely make sure whatever foundation, if you haven't already got one already, make sure you get the best. Make sure you get something new or something that's used that's like top quality. Because from there, it's almost like little pigs, you know. The one that built the straw wasn't thinking. The one that built the woods wasn't thinking. The one who built the brick was correctly thinking. Like if you wanna correctly think, make sure you get a good tiny house on a good foundation. I'm looking at tiny house on Flat Rocks. You ever heard of them? Flat Rocks, North Carolina. Yeah. I deal with them. It's a community called Simply Living, and I know them all very well. Yeah. I was supposed to go there last September. I escaped Wilmington, North Carolina to go to the mountains of North Carolina because there was a hurricane, and I was supposed to go visit them, but it rained, torrential rain, and I could not go see them. But I've helped them sell a lot of tiny houses in that community. So if you have any questions, send us a support request to the website. Thank you. I'm 6'8", so it's going to be tricky. Yeah, I mean 6'8", no problem. Actually, I'm 6'4", and there's a lot of tiny houses that when you're on the first floor are 8 foot, and then above the loft has plenty of space. Like people figure that all out. So 6'8", I mean, I know this is very rare to be that tall, but it's also quite common, more common than you think for people your height to live in a tiny house. So you can definitely do it. Big dude though. Can you do a giveaway? LOL. I'm a broke student and I want to set up behind my dad's house. How about you and your dad reclaim a lot of material and build one yourself? It'd be awesome. Let's see. Hey, I've got a runaway camper too. Ever think ever give Kelly a try? Give Kelly Kettle a try. Think of getting one. I have a runaway camper to go to tiny house listings and type in runaway on our YouTube channel, and you'll see that I have give a tour of my tiny house, my runaway, and I love it. I have a 4x8. They're actually working on some new stuff now. I can't tell too much because it's like apparently top secret. And I'm supposed to be receiving the new version of a runaway camper sometime in the middle of this year. So I'll take you along with that too. It'll be really, really cool. I like them a lot because they're a family company. So, have you seen many wheelchair accessible tiny houses? Yes, and almost all of them are custom built. So there's RVI builders who are building wheelchair accessible tiny houses. So go to our website, click on the support icon, and ask us a question. So, where do I live? I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. Cool city. If you ever come to this area, let me know, because on Facebook we have a YouTube group called on Facebook we have a YouTube group. On Facebook we have a Facebook group called Port City, which is Wilmington, North Carolina. Port City Tiny House Gang. So look it up. We're gonna have some meetups soon. I am USA Junk. Thank you so much. Well said. Oh my gosh. Words of wisdom. I want to cut my camper so I can pop up. I stayed in mine for a month. Awesome. Very cool. Send us a video. I hate the USA. Okay, well just F off then. Leave. If you don't like the USA, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's negativity never the way they go. I love everyone. So peace out. Need to be able to stand up if you want to live out of your runaway. Yeah. Well, you don't need to. If you want to, that's fine. Do something different. But living out of your runaway, there's plenty of people who live in a runaway, and obviously you can't stand up in a runaway. If you want to stand up, you can just step outside like 2 feet away. So yeah. I love the USA. I do too. Greatest country in the world. I'm not going to apologize for it. I mean, haters are going to hate, right? It's fine. But whatever country you're from is probably great too, but you're not a good representation of it. You're a horrible representation of it. So the people from your country, if you were to shout out where you're from, would probably say, I'm very embarrassed, because there's probably good people from your country. USA bombing Serbia since 1999. Yeah. I have nothing to do with that. I don't know anything about that. So, yeah, I'm very, very sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, we're here to talk about tiny houses. We're not here to talk about bombing. We're here to talk about solving solutions, not talking about problems. So, let's see. Can you block them? I would love to be able to block them. I'm not sure how to. Yeah, it doesn't even. Actually, the funny thing is, I used to be in Special Forces Air Force, and I was in a mission in Serbia to help out people from Serbia for these types of things that are happening right now, for the atrocities, for Slobodan Milosevic, who was killing innocent civilians. So it really kind of hits home, but at the same time, it's okay. Let's see. If anyone has anything to do positive, or even just talk about good things, let's talk about that. Thank you, Woodhawk. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that for the backup. So, you can travel the world all over the place, and I'm biased, but some people from the USA are from the best people in the world. I'm not saying the people who lead the country are the best people in the world. Sometimes there's some disparities between the people and the people who lead it, but yeah, definitely would never ever apologize for the United States and its glory, the #1 country in the world. You know, it is what it is. And I love everyone else from other countries too. So let's talk about something else. So let's talk about tiny houses. Um, let's see here. Oh yeah, I served in the Air Force right out of high school, so it was fun. And then I went on to do special forces, jumping out of helicopters with one hand with a laptop, one hand with M16. Crazy shit. Let's see here. Where I lived and reigned all the time, I have bought my property and I made 12K, and I have a very affordable way. I need to rehab the house right now in my camper until I rehab my home. Awesome. It sounds like you're very, very cost conscious. I mean, that's like a lot of times it's just not about the square feet. It's about living intentionally and like not just plopping down hundreds of thousands of dollars for $30,000 for a 30-year loan. Just doesn't like you don't even think about it. It's like, oh, this is what my family did. This is what my neighbor did. This is what other my friends did. No, think about it. And that's just coming from some USA scum. I don't know. Take it for how you like it. What are my thoughts on A-frames? A-frames are beautiful and they're a horrible waste of space. So I was almost going to build a 400 square foot A-frame for my house, but my good buddy Chris Strathy, the capable carpenter, talked me out of it, and for good reason. But if you're going to build an A-frame that's super small, it doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're building one like 800 square feet or larger, it makes sense because you finally start to get enough room where you have a good sized loft, and the point is not so steep that it's ridiculous. So if you're going to build an A-frame good size, 800 square feet, give or take, or larger, it's a good way to go. Let's see here. Anybody that's talking stupid shit, I'm not going to acknowledge them or say anything about them from here on out. Hopefully no one else does either. Let's see here. I've accomplished so much to be proud of myself. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think of it that way. I feel like I'm just the very beginning of my career, just starting out. Let's see. Container homes versus tiny homes suggestions. Container homes are a very good way to go. So are tiny houses. I mean, they all are. It all just depends on your situation. But a container home, when you get a container home, and I say this because I live in a city called Port City, it's like nothing but container homes coming in, thousands of them stacked, ready to buy for cheap. But a container home is smart because you have a roof, walls, and floor right out the gate, and you just need some fabrication done. You can do it very, very cheaply. The problem is it's not on wheels, so transport is going to cost each time you do it. There's pros and cons to everything, right? But with a tiny house, you get to move. But, you have to build all these things. It doesn't come to you built like a container home. So there's pros and cons. I think with a container home, it's more of a specialty item still, right? Because you have to have special equipment and all these things. But me personally, I'm building a tiny cabin for myself because that's just my style, right? That's what I want. I'm just going to have, oh my gosh. It's going to have rough sawn lumber on the interior and things like that. But that's what I'm saying. You can talk to another person and they'll be like, yeah, shipping containers are perfect for me for obvious reasons, So, let's see here. Let's see if anyone has anything smart to say. What made you go live on here on Instagram? Because I have Instagram and here, so I chose here. I love YouTube. Yeah, sometimes if I feel like going on Instagram, I'll go there. If I feel like going on YouTube, I'll go there. So good question though. Thank you. I want an A-frame camper, 8,000 and lightweight. An A-frame camper. Yeah, so the maximum width of a camper is going to be 8 feet, 8.5 feet. If you go over the wheel well, that's a weird situation to be going down the road. I personally wouldn't do it, but if that's what you want to do, go for it. I would love to see what it ends up looking like. Let's see. Where do you live? Are you the guy? Yeah, I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm that guy, I guess. One floor and a Murphy type bed is what I'd like. Awesome. Yeah, there's actually shipping containers like that too. Canadians are cool too. Canadians are awesome. Canadians are my friend. I love Canadians. Thank you. I've had very good friends that are Canadian. Funny, I used to live in Australia, and one of my good friends that I made there when I lived in Australia was a Canadian dude, and He was freaking cool. Like you could not tell the difference between him and an American. Very similar to South Africa actually, except they come with an accent. It's funny. You blocked the troublemaker. Thank you. Um, yeah, if you hate America, you shouldn't be here on YouTube because you Americans created YouTube. So get off. I was like, it's like I hate cars and I hate America. Oh, actually, Americans created cars. Oh my gosh. I hate planes. Oh, dang. Americans created planes. My goodness. It's funny. Haters gonna hate. Let's see. I'm in Montana. My husband and I are seriously wanting to go tiny. We've been offered a bus. Would you recommend spray foam insulation? Man, that's tough. For spray foam insulation for the floors, if you're going to build a subfloor for a bus, just recognize it'll take several inches away from your height. So if the typical school bus is 5'11", so if you're like 5'9", then you should definitely spray foam the floor. You can actually go underneath the bus and spray foam as well. Yeah, just be real careful. Another option I've seen, but you won't have quite as good insulation R value is Reflectix. A lot of people with buses tend to go that way too. The R value is only like 2, but if you have a good heater or a good air conditioner or mini split unit, you should be okay. So yeah. Off talk, I'm very handsome. I don't feel that way, but thank you. The bad lighting in here. I'm in a 100-year-old cabin right now in the mountains. I'm actually shooting a YouTube video here. I'm here with my father and brother. They're sleeping there, so I'm here in the bathroom shooting a YouTube video. But yeah, thank you. How would I be able to get a tiny house? Actually, if you go to help.tinyhouselistings.com and type in getting started, we have a guide that literally walks you through the entire process. Let's see here. I live in Swansbury, but have to go to a meeting in Wilmington Thursday. Do you have any plans for blueprints for tiny houses for others? Swansbury, coolest city ever. There's actually a tiny house there overlooking the Intercoastal. That's on Airbnb that I'm going to go visit soon. But do I have any planned blueprints for tiny houses for others? We don't. We're actually going to start allowing blueprints in the future on the website, but right now we don't. Don't they make some insulation from recycled jeans? Yes, they have denim insulation, and and actually the R value is pretty good, believe it or not. Yeah, so there's companies here in the States and I think other places too that take old jeans and recycle them, and they figure out a way to make it like puffy. So there's airspace in between. So yeah, there's absolutely that. There's also wool insulation. There's different types. Spray foam's good. Yeah, but the denim, just look up denim insulation. Good call. Those are really good way to go too. Let's see. If someone farts on one side of the house, can you smell it on the other side of the tiny house? I think that depends on 2 things. How big is your tiny house and how bad is the fart? Let's see here. Let's see, a light pop-up camper, hard-sided camper, and I think I would live in one if I had support of the gym, save money, shower at the gym as much as possible. Yeah, I mean, like literally, with tiny houses and the lifestyle you're talking about, literally any issue you have a problem with, there's a solution to it. So you probably have to have some kind of compromise, but yeah, there's always a solution. Serious question, actually. LOL. Was wondering about the compost toilets. Yeah, right here on this channel, I have a video. It's called "The Best Tiny House Compost Toilet," and you'll see which one I think is the best. It's actually, spoiler alert, it's the Nature's Head Compost Toilet. So amazing toilet. Costs $1,000. Will last you a lifetime. For example, my father, who's in bed in there snoring next door, he has a Nature's Head, and the fan recently went bad on it. It only takes 1 watt, so it runs off grid. So we just bought another one on Amazon for $8. Plop it in, it's ready to go. So everything, for example, a Nature's Head will last you literally an entire lifetime because every part is replaceable. So let's see. Let's see. Good job, Steven. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see here. So, what hell? Can't hear the snoring. Yeah. We're here in Huntsville, Alabama, and there's this brewery here called Straight to L. Straight to L, I guess straight to hell. I don't know. And we went there and had quite a few beers, so a lot of snoring. Whoever just said $20, thank you. Orange, man, appreciate it. I'm not on here to try to get money, but if there's a way to track who's giving us money, we're going to do something good with it. And it's not going to me because I'm just a messenger. And we'll take that money, and if anyone has ideas what to do with it, let me know. Maybe a pro USA campaign. Maybe. There's some haters on here, and it doesn't matter. I love them too. I sure hope you will be attending the Italian House Jamboree. Thank you. I got invited to the last few, and they wanted me to speak actually, but what was the problem? I don't think they were willing to pay me any money or something to like fly there out of my pocket or something. I can't remember what the problem was, but if they approach me and say, "Hey, I will pay to get out there" or something, like at least pay for your airfare, like I would definitely do it. I'd love to go. Let's see. Loft versus no loft. Yeah. Well, with a loft is that's a tough question because there's like fifth wheel that we were saying earlier. There's like fifth wheel camper or fifth wheel style tiny houses where they go out over the truck bed, which the space you normally wouldn't have, and that's free space, and you can make that a bedroom. But if you don't have one of those, downstairs bed is obviously going to rob you space, downstairs space. But if you don't have a family, it's just you or a partner, then it's no problem, right? So it just depends on your situation. Me personally, I don't think a ladder is the way to go. I think stairs to with storage underneath is the way to go. Just climb up the stairs, go to bed, and call it good. For example, there was a tiny house listed on the site today that underneath it had a fridge, dishwasher, and something else built in the storage underneath the stairs. And, like, call it good. That's fine. Let's see. Can I kick someone out of the chat? I probably can, but it's not even worth it. It doesn't matter. I tell you what, I'll make a pact with you from this tiny house chat and other ones. If you guys ignore people that are not nice and not kind and place blame on others and just try to be evil and rude, like if you ignore them, I'll ignore them. How about that? And then maybe they'll just go away, or maybe they'll decide to be nice and kind and love everyone else as well. I'm curious, what the heck do you do all day? Oh my gosh. Well, this year I've been shooting a lot of video, approved listings, try to find funding to make toenails listings grow, support requests, emails to hundreds of people every single day, respond to hundreds of emails, approved listings, people who dispute leads, they get a lead on the website, create images that go on social media campaigns, do analytics, create social media campaigns, read comments on YouTube. Like literally, what I do is probably like a 72-hour per day job that I do in 24 hours. So what do I do all day? A lot of shit. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Here are my basic expenses each month. $53 tax each month. $70 for water, garbage, sewer, run, AC all summer. Literally, that is awesome. Congrats to you, frugal Prius RV. Congrats, respect. You're like living mindfully. It's like we're doing a video now. It's called "This Guy Lives on $10 per Month," and that's my father, who's next door snoring in the next room. And he lives in a tiny house. He has propane expenses and taxes on the land, which is mine, that he lives on, is $36 per year. So he lives on like $15 per month. No one lives cheaper than him that I know of ever. So we'll do a video on him too. Let's see. Tiny house on the water or wheels? I'm actually doing a video on that right now. And the video is about, literally, I know some people who bought land, dug a huge pond in the land, and then put a floating tiny house on the pond, and then they were untouchable by the local planning and zoning because they had a floating house. I'm not saying that works everywhere, but we're doing a video about them as well. They beat the system where they live, which is great. Until they figure out a way to screw those people, and they'll have to do something different. Yes, it costs money to list tiny houses. Yes, it does. It costs money to list tiny houses on the website. It's free until you get a lead. You pay for the leads. Yep. And guess what? You get to make money with your tiny house when you sell it. Let's see. I look good in that flannel shirt I wear. Thank you. It's a Filson. There's a company here in America. It's out of Seattle. It's called Filson, Filson, and one of the best companies, that you ever work with. Like you can call Filson during their business hours, and it's not like press one. It's like you call it, and they're a big company, and they'll say, "Hello, this is Filson. Can I help you?" Like they just pick up the phone, and they've been around since the 1800s. And a lot of their clothes are heirloom. In other words, if you go on eBay and type in Filton, you'll see wool jackets from the 1950s that are built so well, American made, and they you can wear them, take care of them, then pass them on to your grandchildren. They're built so well. Filton, very good company. I bought this 7 years ago. It's a $200 Filton shirt that I got on while they were doing a sale for like $29. It's like my favorite piece of clothing ever. And people say, "Oh my gosh, you wear that so much." You can go back on the YouTube channel here and look from like 2013 and see me wearing this shirt. The floating tiny house sounds awesome. Yeah, it's a good way to be. Do you know of any tiny houses in Louisville, Kentucky? I'm disabled. I need to move closer to my daughter. And thanks. Yeah, so the first thing is, if you're looking for a tiny house on wheels, you should not look location specific, because then you're boxing yourself in to buy a box, which is a tiny house. You want to not look at it that way. You need to like find what you love, find a builder you love that's willing to deliver to your area, which most builders, almost basically all builders, are willing to deliver where you live. Filson is also owned by Shinola, which is based out of Detroit. Awesome. I had no idea. Very cool. Kentucky doesn't have the strictest rules on building codes like zero. Yeah, I believe that. You know, in most states don't have building codes outside of the city, or they do, and they're not as restrictive, so you can figure out a way around it. So don't buy into that. Let's see. Filson is amazing. Yes, they are. Filson, my favorite company. Not my favorite company. I really like Patagonia. This is getting political, but I don't care. Lately, there's been. I even did a mock off of the what was it? What's the guy's name who takes the knee for football games? They did the one post of Nike, and it was like believe in something. And I did look on Instagram a ways back, and it was like believe in something, even if it means sacrificing square feet. I did one that I did really well. And then there's companies like that. And then there's companies like Gillette who are just trying to like be divisive, you know. But there's companies like Patagonia who they take a stand for the environment, and not only do they take a stand for environment, they take their money, Patagonia, and like actually do something with it. They're not just trying to like divide. They're trying to like take a position and help the environment, right? And actually do something with the money, and they actually do something with their voice, and they're literally changing. Like they're like, you know, there's places in the world that are very fragile, and they're doing all they can to help preserve those and help the environment. And they're just not just like talking shit, you know what I mean? And so companies like Patagonia is my favorite company in the world, and they're not greedy. Like you can have a 10-year-old Patagonia shirt, 10-year-old Patagonia jacket, whatever. Send it back in, and they'll send you a store credit to buy something new. They're not greedy. Amazing company. Companies like Nike's and Gillette, like in my honest opinion, can go f off, because they're just being divisive, and they're like trying to take divisiveness and use it to increase their stock price. Bullshit. It's my opinion. I don't, you know. Colin Kaepernick. Yes, exactly. Ron Jeremy. Oh my gosh. Believe in being drunk. Believe in being drunk. That's funny. I wish concrete dome houses would catch on disaster resistant, fireproof, earthquake survive domes. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you know, can you guys guess what home was suggested to colonize the moon? Take a guess. It's really cheap to get there to the moon. I'll give you 2 seconds. Can you guess? What kind of house was suggested to colonize the moon? Called earth bags. So it's almost like the bag that you fill it with dirt that's already on the moon and make a house. It's not even all that interesting. I don't know why I propped it up. I'm missing all the good questions. Damn it. Sorry. Earth bag. You guessed it. My man. My woman. Frigo Prius RV. Man or woman. Sorry. Ever done a built-in vacuum for a tiny house? No, but there's one on YouTube on our channel here that has, and it's pretty amazing. It's a 13-foot tiny house, and they have built-in vacuum. I used to want a cordwood house. Take too long to build. Yeah, super labor intensive. But if you have the gumption, really good way to go. Let's see. You guys are awesome. This is so fun. I love it. I wish I was in a better situation without my father snoring next door. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. I'm going to go back because I'm missing some of the good questions, apparently. I should charge for consultations on building homes? Hell no. No way. Never. Thank you, though. I'm not trying to disagree with what you're saying, but no way. If I make money here on YouTube or wherever, that's fine, but I truly care about the whole thing. I care about the idea of living with less, because I'm doing that myself, right? Like I've lived in tiny houses before, and then I had to move back for different situations, and I'm building one now, and I'm paying cash for it, and it's the best feeling ever because I'm going to live in my own cabin forever and not owe money on it. And so I really wish that for all of you guys and gals, because I think it's important. I think it's important to swing the financial pendulum back in your own favor, right? Like I think it's super important to like take responsibility and take control of like your finances, right? Like it's so important. Like people go 5-10 years and do this and do that and pay rent or whatever. If you spend that 5 or 10 years of your life consciously thinking about the money you're spending, like that could be all the difference between starting a business, between retiring early, between paying off debt, between paying off medical bills, right? Like if you live in a tiny house and you own it, or you have minimal payments on it, that literally can change your whole life, period. So I hope that for each and every, I truly hope that for each and every one of you. Aircrete, very familiar with that. Yes, awesome. Have I considered a planned sales page where designers can sell their detailed plans? Absolutely, yes. That's in the works. It's really high priority. I think it's number 722 on their list of things to do. How many emails do you get a day with questions about tiny homes? Oh my gosh, do you really want to know? It's in the hundreds, sometimes thousands, which is why my fingers look like this. Kidding. Let's see. I bet you have good credit. My credit is 835. Yeah, I have good credit. Is a stackable washer and dryer better than a combo if you can spare the extra space? I hear that the combos take a long time to drop. There's actually a whole new generation of single units that are literally, they're tiny. They're super tiny. Go on our website and type in Timbercraft, and they're doing that. Literally, they're just cutting out a hole in the wall and putting the washer and dryer in there, and it takes zero space between rooms. And I'd say I don't know how big, but they take very little energy. You put them in there, they wash, then dry, and you come back, and they're good to go. Yeah. Do I know any communities that rent tiny homes? Tiny house rentals are very few and far between. Financing, however, is becoming more and more common. I wish I was in my 20s now instead of turning 65 and have the tiny house movement. But Carol, you're 65, right? There's a lot of people who are 85 who wish they're saying the same thing, right? So you have 20 years, right? Or however. Not to be like disagreeable with what you're saying, but if you want to do it right now at 65, just do it and make the decision. And then maybe 66 or 67, you'll be glad you did it, instead of being 70 and be like, man, I wish I had a tiny house, right? Just do it now. It's for you. And like if that's what you want to do right now, that means it's for you. Just do it, right? Like age is not, you're fine. Just do it, please. Like my mother is 63 and she wants to do it. So she just bought, a few years ago, she decided she wanted to do it and she bought 3 tiny houses as rental units and she's going to live in one. So it's for you too, please. Like, and I'm not just saying that to you, Carol. I'm saying it to all people who are in their 60s, like, or 70s or whatever. Like, just do it. Like, I mean, if your health is good enough to do it, if your finances are good enough